So today we're going to talk about how to find volumes for non-rectangular prisms. We actually kind of started that idea yesterday. For a rectangular prism, some of you may have learned the formula length times width times height, right? But the problem is that doesn't work for something if it's not a rectangular prism. In other words, if not every face is a rectangle, that's never going to work. So we'd like to learn something more general. So in general, the volume of a prism can be calculated by dividing the prism into identical layers that are each 1 unit high. Then to calculate the volume, simply multiply the volume of one layer by the number of layers it takes to fill the shape. To find the volume of one layer, think about covering the base of the layer with cubes that are 1 unit on a side. So the number of units that it will take is equal to the area of the base. So, putting that all together, if capital B is the area of the base of a layer, and H is the height of the prism or the number of layers, then the volume is given by the formula V equals capital B, not little b, it's got to be capital B, times H. So, for this one, there's a lot of different ways we could slice this. Most people will go ahead and go, okay, I'm going to slice it like this. Oh, sorry. I apologize. So that layer, the area of the base, is going to be 4 times 3 is 12. Then the volume is the area of the base times the height of the prism is 12 times 5 is 60. And that those where it looks almost like a quotation mark, where it has the two little marks, that's inches. So this would be cubic inches. So I'm interested not only in you getting the right answer, but in you showing how you got the right answer and that you have the correct units. So be sure that you're showing how you're finding the area of the base, that you're using this formula, okay? You absolutely must show your work on these, okay? I will not take it if you do not show your work. I'll give you some credit for the right answer, but then there'll be a major penalty for not showing your work. Okay? All right. So what if we did this a different way than we did in part A? We should get the same answer. So let's say instead of slicing it that way, what if we sliced it this way? Across here, and then down like that. So that was our slice. So then what I would be using as my base layer would be 4 times 5. Which is 20. And then volume is equal to the area of that base layer times the height, which is the number of layers I'm going to have. So that's going to be 20. If I'm slicing this way, how many different layers am I going to have starting at the front going to the back? I'm going to have 3. So the volume is 60 cubic inches. And yes, our answers should match. Why does this make sense? So the volume should be the same no matter how you find it. So on those, we could have used length times width times height. That works out fine if it's a rectangular prism. But not everything is a rectangular prism. So let's look at this one. Laura wants to make a bigger box for her shells. She's found a pattern that she likes. The pattern has two sides that are pentagons, and the finished box will look like a miniature house. See the picture at the right. What's the only way that we can slice this so that we will get identical layers? Okay, so think of this like a loaf of bread, right? You would be slicing it like you'd be slicing this up. You've got to slice it vertically. Parallel to the pentagons. So it's going to look like this. All right, that's going to be your slice. Yes, sir. Not right now. In the middle of a lesson. So, and then you would have several slices. How many layers of that would we have from the back to the front? Yeah, we're going to have 8 of those layers. Okay, let's find the area of the base. So we don't have a rule for finding the area of a pentagon. However, there's two what's stuck together there. There are two trapezoids. So the area of the base, there's going to be 2 of them times the area of a trapezoid is 1/2 base 1 plus base 2 times the height. So 2 times 1/2 is just 1. So my 2 bases, I know that this is 5 and this is 9. Remember, the 2 bases of the trapezoid are parallel to each other. They don't have to be top and bottom, but they do have to be parallel to each other. That's going to be 9 plus 5. And the height of this trapezoid, well, if this distance is 6, how much is each one of these going to be? 3. So that's 14 times 3 is 42. And then the volume will be the area of the base times the height, which is the number of layers we're going to have from one base to the other. So it's going to be 42 times, as we said just a minute ago, there are 8 of those layers. The height doesn't necessarily mean up and down. It means how many layers you have. How far is it from one base to the other base? So let's see, that's 320 plus 16 is 336 cubic inches. All right. Everyone, please try this one. ahead and add those together first. No. I have no idea what you've done here. You have no formulas, no nothing. So I'll just tell you that that's not the right answer, and I don't, if that was on the quiz or a test, unfortunately, since you just have a bunch of numbers written down, like, no, it's all wrong. Tell me what you're doing. No, it's not 38 times 10 times 12. That's not going to work. So, how can you slice this so that every layer is the same?
I got 30. I got 38 cents.
Pardon? So that's not an extra. 10 is a number. Explain to me, how would you
I
slice
think
this
it's
so
3780.
that every layer was the same? That doesn't mean
I
anything.
wrote my numbers wrong.
That is zero meaning. So, oh, well, here's part of the problem. You didn't write down how we did it before. So over here, when we said, what's the only way to slice it? I don't know why you didn't write anything down. So perhaps you can get that from one of your friends. Do that now. Nice. Very good. Man. Yes, it's a 2-hump camel.
We call 3-hump camel. What'd you get, Chris? That's awful.
That's what
I
makes
got
it
3780. First time.
All right, let's take a look at this. So, first you have to decide how you're going to slice this. We're going to slice it vertically, and we're going to slice it parallel to those two trapezoids. That's how we're going to slice it. So, if we were doing that, that means that your slice is going to go something like this. You're going to slice there, here, so that every single one of your slices looks like that piece. I don't want that. But so you're going to just keep slicing it like that each and every time. So then our base is the trapezoid. So that's the first thing we do, is find the area of the base. And you write down the formula and you find the area. It's 1/2 base 1 plus base 2 times height. I know some of you resist this. I'm just telling you, if you don't do this on the test, you will not get credit for it. I can't be any plainer than that. Okay, some of you are doing really lovely work, and some of you are like, I don't have to do, I'm too smart to do that. So the two bases of the trapezoid are 38 and 25. And the height of the trapezoid is 12. So that's going to be half of 63 times 12, which is 378. And the volume is the area of the base times the height. The area of the base is 378. The height is how many layers are we going to have? We're going to have 10 layers. So it's 3,780 cubic feet.
Take a bow. Take a bow.
Wasn't anything big. Are there any questions about that? Okay, then that's it for today's lesson.